Hi, I welcome you all for this video lecture series on GRASP from OOAD. Myself, Shankar, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering. The GRASP is General Responsibility Assignment Software Patents or General Responsibility Assignment Software Principles. You can call it as patents or principles. Let's go to the topic. So let's have an introduction about GRASP. GRASP, General Responsibility Assignment Software Patent, this consists of guidelines for assigning responsibility to classes and objects in object-oriented design. Patents is a named description of a problem and solution that can be applied to new contexts. Ideally, a patent advises us on how to apply its solution in varying circumstances. Different patents and principles are used in GRASPs that are creator, information expert, low coupling, high cohesion, and controller. Let us see one by one what they are. The first one is creator. Creator is only responsible for creating objects. It is a creation of object is one of the most common activities in the object-oriented system. So it is only responsible for creating objects. The problem with the creator is who should create an instance of new class? If we have a new class, who is responsible for creating object for that class? That is actually problem with the creator. For that, we have a solution that, for example, if you have a two class called A and B, suppose if B is a creator of A objects, then at least one of the following must be true. Whether B contains A or B compositely aggregates A, B records A, or B closely uses A. Any one of the four must be satisfied, right? And let us see the common task of creator is to assign responsibilities related to the creation of objects. All common relationship between classes or composite aggregates part, container contains the content, or recorder records the content. So we will discuss one example for the creator in the product on sale application. So here they have given sale, sale line item, and product specification. Three diagrams has been given. Here it does not have any methods. If it does not have any detailed description, it means it has only the properties. Because in the last video we have discussed about class diagram. I said that the class diagram must have three parts, right? A class name, properties, and method name. So as of this diagram, we don't have any methods. Okay, in the point on sale application, who should responsible for creating a sale line item instance, which is considered the partial domain model of sale line item. Here, sale takes the responsibility of creating sale line item instance. Since sale contains many sale line item objects, so many sale line item described by one product specification, and one sale contains many sale line items. Already we had discussed the multiplicity among the two different classes, right? Also, the common task of creator is to assign responsibilities related to the creation of objects. All common relationship between classes or the composite aggregates part, container contains the content, and recorder records the objects. And this method has some benefits there. It has low maintenance due to low coupling, and it has higher opportunities for the reuse. The second one is information expert. Information expert is a principle used to determine where to delegate responsibilities. These responsibilities include methods, computed fields, and so on. The problem with information expert is, what is the general principle of assigning responsibility to the objects? That doesn't know. The solution for that is we can assign the responsibilities to the information expert. For example, you just consider this diagram. We have a sale. The sale contains one or many sale line item, and many sale item can describe one product specification. So we'll see if we want to have a total for the calculation total, right? So in this application, maybe some classes needs to know the grand total of the sales. We just consider the partial domain for the first diagram. You just listen the cursor here. If you want to know total, we need to get a total value from the sale. For that purpose, we are adding a new method to the sale class, that is get total. Previously, you just look here, the sale doesn't have any method. But in this scenario, right, we need to know about the total from the sale. That's why here we are going to have, or we are going to add the method called get total as a third part, right? So if we have a method called get total from the sale, we cannot able to say that we have only one total, because if we have purchased many items, we need to have all the subtotal. Because if you are buying, for example, one particular face cream, you may the quantity may be 3 or 4. For any face wash, the quantity may be 4. For example, you have purchased 10 items with different quantities. You need to know the subtotal of all the items based on the quantity. Then you need to get the summarize of the entire total. Then only we can able to know the total, right? Otherwise, we cannot able to get this, right? For that, here they have added subtotal to the sale line item, right? So already we have a total in sale, but we cannot able to say directly what is the total amount that they have purchased. For that, we need to know the quantity. Based on the quantity, we need to calculate the subtotal for each item based on the quantity. After that, you need to get some value of all the total. Then finally, you can get the total. For that, we need to have one more method called subtotal that we can add in the sale line item. This is the last diagram. So if we know what are the items they have purchased and how many number of items for each product, but we need to know the price of particular item. Then only we can able to get the total subtotal after that main total, right? The total values. For that, we are getting price from product specification. So we are adding one more new method, the product specification called get price, right? So you just see this diagram. We are getting total. The total is getting from subtotal from sale line item. The subtotal will be calculated based on the price that will be get from product specification. So this is what we have to assign the responsibility to the class is actually information expert. We need to know what are the responsibility we should assign for the each classes. Right? For example, here what responsibility we have assigned for sale, we have assigned get total. For sale line item, we have assigned get subtotal. For product specification, we have assigned get price. The third one is low coupling. Before talk about low coupling, let us discuss what is coupling. Coupling is the measure of how strongly one element is connected to other element. There are two types of couplings are there. One is low coupling and another one is high coupling. Low coupling is also called as weak coupling. High coupling is also called as strong coupling. Let us see what is low coupling. An element, it does not depends on too many other classes like classes or subsystem and so on. We can say that it is low coupling. So obviously, what is high coupling? A class with high coupling relies on other many classes. The problem of high coupling is forced local changes. It is very hard to understand and it is very hard to reuse. The problem is that how to support a low dependency to change a low impact and increase the reuse. The solution is assign a responsibility so that coupling remains low. For example, you just consider the three classes: payment, register, and sale, right? So for that three classes, we have two designs, design one and design two. We just listen design one. We have register. Register is responsible for making a payment. For that, register has to create a payment with the payment class, and the register has to add one more responsibility that to the sales class, that he has to add the payment. So he has to create payment, he has to add payment, register has to make the payment. It is not necessary. Register, he want to make the payment. For that, is only responsible to request sale to make a payment is enough. For that sale, he has to request to create a payment to payment class is enough. So the design one have the register class can have two responsibilities. We have reduced the responsibility from 2 to 1 with the another design with the design 2. So now the register becomes only one responsibility and the sale can have only one responsibility. Right? So such a way that we have to design classes. And next one is high cohesion. So let us see what is cohesion. Cohesion is a measure of how strongly related and focused responsibilities of an element. The problem with the high cohesion is how to keep classes focused, understandable, and manageable. The solution is assign a responsibility so that cohesion remains high. An element has high cohesion if it does not do tremendous work and has high responsibilities. The difficulties of low cohesions are it is hard to comprehend and it is hard to use and it is hard to maintain. This is the example. For example, you just see we have two classes, register, sale. The register is responsible for making payment and is also responsible for making payment with the sale class. It has been changed into the design 2. The register is only responsible for make payment. Sales can create a payment. Right? Yes. And the fifth one is controller. Controller is defined as the first object beyond the user interface layer that is responsible for the receiving or handling a system operation message. The problem with the controller is what first object beyond the UI layer that receives and coordinates a system operation. Solution is assign the responsibility of controller to an object representing one of the following choice. It represents the overall system, device, or subsystem and represents a use case scenario within which the system event occurs. For example, if you have a system with the methods called end sale, enter item, make new sale, and make payment. For this, the cashier is pressed the button, cashier has entered the item ID and quantity. For example, 102 is an item ID. He wants the quantity is 4 and he has pressed the press button. Automatically, the action is performed with UI layer and with the Java, this UI is actually developed with Java. So cell JFrame is going to enter the domain layer. It gives the system operation message that he has entered the item with the item ID and quantity. For that, with the domain layer, it has to know which class responsible for receiving that system event. That is called a controller or coordinator. That controller is a kind of facade to the domain layer. It has to retrieve that particular item ID and the number of quantity. Then it can be multiplied with the price and it shows the total amount. Guys, thank you watching for this video. Thank you. Thank you all.